Taurus season is coming to an end. Gemini is almost here. Saturn is about to go retrograde. And we've got a new moon this week. Hey, my friend. This is your Sidereal Astrology forecast for the week of June 12th through the 19th. Is that correct? Through the 18th. See, I didn't know that wasn't right. Through the 18th. Danie Muniz here, your spiritual healer, helping you find clarity on your spiritual journey as we heal the past, present, and future. My friend, I am so excited to be with you today to share what is going on in our sky because, as I said, we've got the end of Taurus season. We've also got our sun moving into Gemini. So we're moving out of that beautiful earth stabilizing energy and into that mental energy, that air energy of Gemini, which is definitely going to shift the energy up, my friend. Let me just tell you. Plus, we've got our new moon happening on Saturday evening, late Saturday evening, in the very, very early beginnings of Gemini. I believe it's like 1 or 2 degrees Gemini. And then we have Saturn moving into retrograde. It's been pre-retrograde period for a bit now, since about March. So we've had a couple of months of kind of that kind of energy. But we're going to talk more about the actual retrograde period, how long that's going to be, what that period is going to ask of us. And we're going to talk about how the moon, where the moon is this week, who it's connecting with, because it's connecting with some people this week, and what all is kind of happening in our sky. So stay tuned, my friend. We've got a lot to talk about. Let's kick it off with the very, very beginnings, with where our moon is. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And if you are new here, Danie Muniz, I am so excited for you to be here. This is Keeping It Real with Sidereal. Here we talk about sidereal astrology. Yes, sidereal astrology is slightly different than tropical. And really the main difference is how we're looking at the placement or the actual, I want to say the actual placements of the planets and stars in our sky right now. In our tropical friends, we're about to end Gemini season, if I'm not mistaken, or we're getting pretty close. And then we'll be moving into Cancer season and tropical, when if we were actually to look up in the sky, you can use apps like Stellarium to look up in the sky. You will see that the sun is still moving through the zodiac sign of Taurus right now, and it will be moving into Gemini on Thursday, so later this week. Okay. Let me bring it back. Let me share my screen. I just realized I am not sharing my screen yet. So let me do that. I can't do, this multitasking thing. I used to like pride myself on being a monster tacker. I was going to say a monster tacker, on being a somebody who could do multiple things. I used to write that on my resume back in the day. I am not a multitasker, my friend. I have learned that I am not a multitasker. I have embraced that. So if you are a multitasker, way to go. My love is a multitasker. He can be listening to a video on YouTube. He could be studying, right? And he can have his phone as well with something else on. I'm like, how do you do that? I cannot do that. I am not a multitasker. All right, let's kick off this week. So let's go ahead and again, every single time I do this forecast, if you are new to the channel, you don't need to know everything that's on here. If you're completely new to astrology, don't worry about it. I do like to show the chart because I want you to get familiar with this. And if you want to dive deeper, there are ways to dive deeper into this information. And I can definitely take a look down in the description box if you if you're curious, but there are ways, and there are more ways coming up soon to learn this information if you want to do it, learn it yourself in your for your everyday knowledge and for your growth and expansion, right? Because that's what I'm all about. So let's go ahead and take a look. Very first thing we're going to look at, we're going to look for the circle with the dot. That is our sun. So on our astrology charts here, we are going to first look for the sun and that the circle with the dot, which is our sun. You can see our sun is still in this part of the sky, which is still Taurus. It's right here. It's at the very end, as you can see, which we're at 26 degrees. We go to 29 degrees. And so when we get to that point, it will then shift over and we'll be into Gemini up here. Okay. So this is our sun right here at 26 degrees Taurus. And then we're going to go and we're going to find our moon. You probably already know this sign. It's the crescent moon right over here. And as of 12 p.m. in Central Time on Monday, June 12th, you'll see that we are at 20 degrees Pisces. So our moon did move into Pisces over the weekend, and we've been in that energy for a bit now. So we ended our week and we're beginning our week in Pisces energy. Pisces is a really beautiful water sign. It's actually the last of the zodiac signs. And so it is really a lot of that intuition, that imagination, that dreamy place, really receptive, working with your dreams, working in your imagination, lots of creative energy here. So if you felt a call or a pull to do some creative work, this was definitely a beautiful energy for that. For those of you, my friends, that are that you're the entrepreneurs in business, some of the things with Pisces, which is really great to do, is work on the the aesthetics is great, right, for your content or for your your images, right, that you're putting out there. Really great to work on them, to fix them up, to maybe put some filters on them, adjust them, tweak them. Really good creative energy for that there. And connecting to emotional energy as well. So writing some emotional content, writing some those posts where you just feel it in your heart. Like, these are really good place to write those emails from. I actually learned from another intuitive astrologer. She's actually a business astrologer now. Vanessa Corazon. She has a program called Moonsight Planning, I believe it is. And it's where I really learned how to work with the moon as a productivity system, working with the moon as a productivity system. Absolutely amazing. And so Pisces is really good time to write that content, to work with that content. That is more of an emotional base. Now, that also means that our emotions may be coming up during this time. We may be feeling a little bit more emotional, easily moving in and feeling through those emotions, especially my fellow water signs. We definitely can hear, that was my alarm. So this, my friend, if you are new here, we do not edit these videos. These are done, even though it's recorded, it is done live. I don't edit my videos. Maybe I will at some point. I just, it's better done than perfect. That is what we're talking about here. Okay, so that is our Monday. And we also see here that we've got our moon next to this guy here, which happens to be Chiron. And so if you've heard of Chiron before, Chiron is it really is the energy of our past wounds, our traumas, our deepest wounds we feel here as well. So with the moon connecting, right, I like to say that these two guys are hanging out. They went out, maybe they went out for some coffee. Maybe the moon came over to visit Chiron at his house, and so they're kind of hanging out together. And so because of that, we might have more emotions coming forward in relation to those past wounds, those traumas, that loss, the abandonment. And so we can be triggered by external circumstances, by somebody saying something or doing something that triggers us, right? Or maybe we're even feeling this internally, right? And it's coming out in that way. And so there's a lot, right, that could be coming forward. But every time the moon comes and hits over, because this happens every single month, it gives us an opportunity to explore some deeper wisdom to heal. So we can explore some deeper wisdom to heal here with this conjunction here this week. So this will be Monday, a little bit of Tuesday, but really we'll be kind of pulling away there. And then we've got the moon moving into Aries. So Tuesday, Wednesday, we will see our moon in Aries. And Aries is the beginning of the zodiac sign. It is a fire sign. It is a starter energy. So really good time to get things going, to get things started, like that refresher, right? Or if you're feeling like, oh, things have been kind of stagnant, really like kind of starting to push things forward. I love fire energies, especially Aries, for starting a new habit, right? If you're wanting to maybe, drink more green juice, especially right now, or drink more water, or get more steps in, or maybe read more, right? I started to build this habit of reading 10 pages a day, and it's actually helped me read more than 10 pages, which is great. But I started that, right, creating that habit back on a Aries moon a couple of months ago. So we can really use this energy to get things going, to get things started. For my entrepreneurial friends, this is also a really good time to make an offer. Really good time to make an offer. Get your offer ready, have it ready so that when we get to Tuesday and Wednesday here, really great day to make that offer. Now, that's not the only time that you can make an offer, but let me just say it's one of my favorite times to make an offer is during Aries. Okay. Next, we have our moon that I do want to point out here because we are at 4 degrees here on Tuesday, 4 and 8 degrees. So they're about 4 degrees apart. That is the moon and the north node right here, the moon and the north node. And so the north node is where we're going. It's our evolution. It's where our soul wants to evolve to in this lifetime, with the opposition of our south node. Our south node wants to, it's our comfort zone. It's what comes easy. It's our strengths. And so when we start to unlock our north node, that's when we're able to use the beautiful strengths that we have from our north node activated into our north node, from our south node to our north node. Let me get that straight. So this particular transit gives us glimpses into the future. So pay attention to what is coming forward to you during this period, Tuesday and Wednesday, that may be giving you insights into what's to come, into where you're headed, where you're going. One of the reasons why I love the Akashic Records, I'm an Akashic Records practitioner. I use the Akashic Records in all of my readings, all of my forecasts. And one of the things I love is that, it gives you that glimpse, right? We can get that glimpse into the future on this particular timeline, right? On this particular place that we're going right now. If we keep doing the same things, or right, if we keep going on this path, or we make this shift and we continue on, it's giving you that direct timeline. Now, there's many different timelines. We can decide to turn right when maybe we were going left, and then all of a sudden, right, things completely change. So I tell you this, that you could be receiving some of that information to a potential future timeline. It may not be the one that is rock solid, because anything can shift or change depending on the decisions that we're making, the thought forms that we're creating. So that will be on Tuesday. And then we'll also see that move over. It's also going to move over through Jupiter during that time. So Tuesday evening into Wednesday, and Jupiter is our planet of expansion. So we may see some emotions rise, let's just say, especially with that Aries energy. Jupiter's been, in there for just a bit now, and that's really bringing a lot of fire and action and challenging energy for us. It's really expanding that, really wanting us to like own our shit, let me just say. So with the emotional energy, that could be a lot coming forward. So I want you to pay attention to that, because there could be some bit of outbursts if we're not channeling those emotions properly. During an Aries moon, I often say get some movement going. If you have your moon in Aries, you definitely need to make sure that you are moving that energy. Actually, if you have a sun, moon, or rising sign in Aries, or if you have a lot of Aries, a lot of planetary energy in Aries, definitely, moving your body is key. So especially during this 2-day period here, I'm going to recommend to get out and walk, go for a swim, take an exercise class, get on that bike, whatever works for you. I love to dance. So, turn on a dance video or turn on some music and maybe start dancing. That would be a good one too. Okay. So then we have the moon conjunct Uranus here, as we can see, and it's moving. It's not quite here at this time point, but it's moving into that energy. And so Uranus can, throw some things unexpected. Let's just say it is the rebellion. It does want to do its own thing, but it is very much community oriented, social driven, like social issues kind of driven, like, the underdog type energy. And so we could see some, wanting to go out and help somebody or support something, support a cause, support a mission, right? The other way I like to work with Aquarius is to brainstorm. Aquarius is such a vision oriented sign. It really likes to, see what the future holds, right? Really what is possible, and sometimes so extreme from the current reality that it can be a little bit hard, right, to want to step into. It can seem so dreamy and so different than what maybe everybody else is saying. And so we can use this to really brainstorm, to really think of how we can maybe do something that we are currently challenged with, whether this is in your own personal self. Maybe there's a struggle that you're having. Maybe it's in a relationship of some sort, not maybe just with your intimate partner, but with your friendships, right? We could see this here is like how, right? I'm looking for ideas. I'm looking for ways of maybe thinking outside of the box of what I'm currently doing, because like what I'm doing right now ain't working, right? So Aquarius can really help us think outside of the box. It's one of my favorite times of the month to just sit down and just like brainstorm vision, right? One of my good friends, Jennifer Hart, founder of the Connected Soul Network, she has this thing called vision planning, where she really helps you really dive into your vision, which I'm excited to work with her on. And so like, it's that type of energy that you're really going to want to step into, visioning and thinking about your future. Plus, with this Saturn retrograde that we have coming on in a bit, that I'll tell you, man, it's going to be a really good time for that. Okay, let's move on. So we've got the moon conjunct Mercury here. We are moved into Taurus. So we move into Taurus on Thursday, and we'll be in Taurus through late Saturday night. So from Thursday to late Saturday night, we will be in that Taurus, moon will be in Taurus energy. And that's the energy that we've been in the past, the past month. Is our sun's been there, all month long. And so really good opportunity to just like kind of come to those final conclusions. So leading up to the new moon, the last week, so really started last Saturday, or this last Saturday here through this next week, is a really great time to sit and reflect on the past 30 days. Every time we are the week before a new moon, we are going to want to take the opportunity to just reflect on where we've been, reflect on the past 30 days. What has transpired? What have we accomplished? Where did we struggle? Where did we get stuck, right? Or where did we move forward? Where did we achieve our goals? Where did we connect in? And Taurus really was an opportunity for us to slow down, right? We moved out of the Aries energy, which again is that fire energy, that go energy, that starter energy. And then it was like, okay, let's settle things down. Let's take a breather. And now we're moving into Gemini, which is going to start moving things a little bit more. But in Taurus, we kind of like put our feet down. We're like, we dig in, right? We get some roots going so that we can kind of like see where we are, right? Before we take the next step. Gemini is such a curious, social, learning, like wanting to know the next thing, right? It doesn't like boredom. Where Taurus is like, bring it on, right? Let's just sit outside on the grass under the sun, right? Or let's sit on the couch in the air conditioning, watch some Netflix and chill energy. And yet Gemini is like, let's get moving. Like, I'm bored. I let me learn something else. It's shifting through YouTube videos or songs. It's like, give me something. Podcasts. I love podcasts. Okay. So we have that going on. Let me go ahead and share my screen back again. And that is on Friday. And you will see here that we actually, our sun, our circle, remember, circle with the dot, it actually moved into Gemini. So if I go back here, you'll see it 29 degrees at 12 p.m. Actually, later Thursday evening, it will move into Gemini. And so we'll have like the last bit of Taurus, and then we'll move into Gemini late Thursday. And so by Friday, we will be getting that Gemini energy. Our moon will be conjunct Mercury, and Mercury has been in Taurus for a bit. And so those two coming together is just like, again, those final thoughts, that final, like, what's next for us? Because as I started to say, and I'll talk more about Gemini in the coming weeks, but Gemini is such a curious sign, and it wants to learn. And I often sit during Taurus and think like, what is it that I'm ready to learn next, right? And just like get my kind of bearings of not just, looking at every offer that comes across my table, right? Not just saying like, oh, I want this and I want this and I want this, and like getting into that mode, because we can definitely get into that mode with Gemini, which my entrepreneurial friends, if you have a course, if you have a program, if you're in coaching of some sort, like Gemini is such a great season because everybody's like seeking information. So if you've got information that you want delivered, Gemini is such a beautiful season for that. And so because of that, right, we're in that energy. We are also in that energy that we may just wanting to buy and learn and soak up all the information. So I love Taurus for just giving us that final beat of like, and you can use this on Friday, right, to kind of sit as we prepare for our new moon and think about our intention for this new cycle of what am I curious about? What am I ready to learn right now? What am I going to need to learn right now as it relates to where I'm going this year and what I want to achieve, right? Because we're like at that halfway point, right? June comes and it's like that halfway point of the year where it's like, what is this next half of the year going to be for me? And we can take this final beat right here to really settle in on what's going to be best for us. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to Saturday here. We see we are still in that Taurus energy, and then we'll move into Gemini late Saturday night for our new moon. And we have it right here. You can see already in Gemini there. So let me, couple of different things I want to talk about now is the new moon in Gemini is on Saturday. Late Saturday. And we're really looking at, what did I call it? The energy. I was working on the Gemini guidebook earlier today, and I can't remember what I called it, but it really is like this energy of visioning for the future, or really looking at that kind of idea here of connections. I think that's what it was. Calling in the connections. I think that's what I had said. Calling in the connections that are going to serve us best in the second part of the year. And when I look at connections, I'll dive more into this in a video, but when I think about connections, right, we're not just looking at like we might think networking, right? Or like social type connections, but even connection with self, right? Calling in that deeper connection with self, or deeper connection with the things that you have and you desire, right? Really, I'm working on gratitude right now. I'm on a 28-day practice, not just writing what I'm grateful for, but multiple. I'll share more about this, but multiple activities, I'll say, that really are nurturing this energy of gratitude. And so it's like deepening my level of gratitude and deepening the connection that I have with it that I probably have never had in my entire life. And so it's brought a lot of insight already, and I'm only on like day 4. So stay tuned for more of that. All right, let's talk about this Saturn energy right over here. So Saturn, this is the symbol for Saturn. You'll see, we're going to go back here. You'll see how it is in white. See how the numbers here, 12 degrees Aquarius in white. When it turns red, as we see it did here on the 17th, on June 17th, you'll see it turned red, and that means it is in retrograde. So again, a retrograde period, just really quick in case you are not sure, you've kind of maybe heard about a Mercury retrograde, but you're not quite sure what that is. So a retrograde period, the planets go retrograde all the time. Okay. So that's not, it's nothing new. Saturn does go retrograde every single year. So it's nothing new. I just want to put that out there. Retrograde is there's always planets that are going retrograde. You can't see it now, but you'll see Pluto, right? Pluto was also already in retrograde for this year. Earlier this year, we had our Mercury in retrograde, and all it is if we look up in the sky, right, it'll appear that that planet is moving backwards. It's actually not. It's just from our level of perception here on Earth, it appears that we are moving backwards. So if we take that energy and we think about that, moving backwards, sometimes moving backwards, and you may have heard this before, is like you have to take 10 steps back to take like 20 steps forward, right? You have to take a step back sometimes, evaluate what's going on, reassess things, and then move forward again. And so that's what Saturn, that's what any retrograde period is. It's a time for reassessment. We see this with Mercury, we're seeing this with Pluto, and now here comes Saturn. Well, Saturn is very much the authoritarian energy. It's like that father figure. It's like, putting you in line. It's like I hate using this word, but I'm going to use it because it makes the best point. Adulting. It's the adulting planet. It's the planet that's like responsible. Like, are you being responsible, right? Are you getting enough sleep at night? Are you eating the right foods? Are you exercising? Are you meeting your goals? Like, are you on track, right? That is very much Saturn. And so when Saturn, right, when he takes that break, and he will be in this retrograde season from June 17th, as we saw, through November 4th. So through November 4th. So it's about 4.5 months or so. We're going to see that this energy here. And so this really is a reassessment. It's a restructuring, definitely more on the emotional and spiritual ways. Okay. So more on an emotional and spiritual ways. And I say this because Saturn is such a, masculine type energy that when it goes retrograde, we see it, or we get more in tune with the more feminine energy of it, right? We all have the masculine and feminine energy within us. Saturn, right? Just all the planets do, they might lean more heavily on one way or another. Like Pisces is definitely more feminine energy, where Saturn, right, is more masculine energy. And so during its retrograde period, it really gives us some time to like sit back, to reevaluate, to kind of look at things a little bit. And so I see this more of us looking on this as an emotional and more spiritual place. We are in Aquarius, so Saturn is in Aquarius right now. I believe our tropical friends are saying that it is in Pisces. It is not. If we were to look in the sky, we would see that it is in Aquarius. And so Aquarius is more of that visioning, as I was talking earlier, community, underdog type energy, rebellion type energy. And so this really gives us an opportunity to kind of reassess our structures, reassess what we're doing, reassess how we even got here. Like, right, we've been tracking what's going on, and we're at that halfway point. So this is a really good time to do that. And this is a really good time to also update your skills, which is what I love as we enter this Gemini season, updating your skills, updating your knowledge, right? So that when it gets back into that motion of, do, right? Which is very much Saturn, like let's do the thing. Let's get responsible again, right? When it gets into that point, it's like, oh, I've got some knowledge and I've got some skills that I'm ready to apply. Right. So there's this like internal kind of looking at, evaluating what's going on, where we at. So it's kind of like we hit a pause. Now, I'm not saying that you need to pause everything in your entire life for the next 4.5 months and just reevaluate. Absolutely not. But there's that opportunity, that underlying current, so to speak, of you being able to do that. Now, because we're also talking about Aquarius, and Aquarius does rule our friendships, you may notice that some friendships are kind of leaving. You may notice that there's an ending happening to some things, and whether that's friendships, communities, projects that you are involved in, like that you're starting to kind of step back, and maybe it's just not in alignment right now, right? Or maybe you're returning to some of those things because maybe those were in alignment. So we might see that on either side, where some friendships are kind of releasing and you're kind of letting those go, or some communities that you were part of, you're kind of just like letting those go, is maybe they're not serving you right now. Not to say that they're not going to serve you in the future, just at the moment, they're just really not where you're at. And as you're going through this reevaluation, which is why it's such a beautiful opportunity to reevaluate, to reassess, to see if the things in our life are really for our greatest and highest good right now. Not to say that's forever, but that's a good time to take a pause and kind of look at that, right? To kind of edit some things, flush some things out, and make some new choices or decisions. All right, my friend. So that is what we have coming up this week in Sidereal Astrology, June 12th through the 18th. So a couple different things. If you did not get the Taurus monthly guidebook, so every single month I put out a guidebook, a zodiacal guidebook that talks all about the energy of this season. So I dive into what that zodiac sign is, more about that zodiac sign and this current season. So I'll talk about the changes that the other planets are making in there as well. So it'll be this entire season. So that's all in there. It also has weekly journal prompts that you can work through for the week to kind of deepen that information, really some good self-reflection, some personal growth through there, as well as the best crystals to work with, the best essential oils, plant medicine to work with during this period, as well as, so that's just that. Plus we've got rituals in there that you can do. Now, the Taurus guidebook has our spring rituals in it. Our upcoming guidebook, which is coming at the end of this week, our Gemini guidebook, will have our summer rituals, because our summer solstice is coming up on the 21st during our Gemini period. So if you want the Taurus guidebook to get those spring rituals and those journal prompts that you can work through, definitely recommend. The link is down in the description box. And you will also get the Gemini guidebook when you download the Taurus guidebook this month. You'll automatically get the Gemini guidebook delivered straight to your inbox, along with those summer rituals. So let me just tell you, friend, I highly recommend downloading that. And stay tuned because we do have some opportunities to learn more about astrology, learn more about yourself. During the upcoming months, I'll have some things coming up that I'm working on right now that I'm excited to share with you very, very soon. So, my friend, that is it for us this week. Have a beautiful rest of your day. A happy new moon. Look out for more videos coming this week on Gemini season and our new moon. I'll talk more about that and give you some really good journal prompts to work through to help you set an intention for this new moon. All right, my friend, have a beautiful rest of your day. Have a beautiful week. And as always, remember, close your eyes and take a deep breath with me and release and find peace.